So he and I both have Abra, and neither of us really have a switch into Abra, which is kind of problematic for both of us. So he's got Abra, Munchlax, Axew, Frillish, Morlu, Morlul. I don't know. Pokemon's names are so weird. Anyways, he's got Larvitar, Electrite, Fennekin. I forgot what this thing is, but it's a bug grass type Pokemon, and he's got Pidove. Or Pidove, whatever you want. I say Pidove. Anyways, our team hasn't changed at all whatsoever. We have Abra, Onix, Corphish, Meowth, Badoo, Mankey, Voltorb, Litleo, Yamask, and the Ozzarul. So, not a bad squad, not at all in my opinion. I've loved it so far. It's been really, really fun. Despite my one flaw on the team is not having hazard removal. I guess I didn't think about that during my actual build, my actual draft or anything like that. So, let's go ahead and hop into the team builder here. What we're actually bringing this match. We've got a Focus Sash Abra. So, like I mentioned, my opponent's only switch in to Abra is actually his own Abra, and so I've decided that since I can potentially 2-hit KO that thing anyway, and definitely do with a Life Orb unless it's like Eviolite, I've decided to run a mono Psychic Abra with Taunt, Psychic, Encore, and Protect. So what Taunt allows me to do, if I get into a position where Munchlax could potentially set up and beat me or beat the rest of my team, then I'm obviously going to want to taunt that. If I get into a position where Snorlax tries to set up in front of the face of another Pokemon and that thing is more valuable than Abra, and I have my Sash intact, I can hard switch into my Abra, have my Sash broken if he attacks, or if he sets up, I can Encore him into his setup move. And Protect is a general scout. Lets me check for things that might be Choice Scarfed. Lets me check for things that might have Pursuit. And especially Munchlax even gets Pursuit, I do believe. So I wouldn't want to switch versus that thing. If I click Protect and see that he Pursuits, then I'm going to just want to stay in and click Psychic. Otherwise, I'll get no damage off, and I'll lose my Abra anyway. So yeah, really nice Pokemon here with the Magic Guard and the Focus Sash. If I can keep that thing intact, then well, you know, obviously hazards won't break it, poison damage won't break it, anything like that won't break it, but fake out damage, which Protect also scouts for, priority move damage and things like that, I want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So yeah, that being said, we go ahead and hop into our next Pokemon here. We've got Onix. Onix is a really cool Pokemon. It's got the sturdy ability, so that if I do face, like if he brings Abra and he's not Life Orb and he's Focus Sash, best case scenario he's not Life Orb because I really don't have a switch into it. But if he is Life Orb, then if he is Life Orb, then it doesn't really matter because my sturdy saves me from being knocked out in one hit. But if he's not Life Orb and he is indeed a Focus Sash variant, I can use something like Rock Blast Onix to bypass his Focus Sash and be able to knock him out in one go there. So potentially, now he could be bulkier, he could have not a lot of speed, he could be like an Eviolite variant for my own Abra since my Abra's up threat versus his team. But in the case that he's not, I could potentially knock him out there. Earthquake's General Stab along with Rock Blast itself. Stealth Rock, I don't really have to say what that's for. You guys should know that by now. And then we got Taunt, which is another thing that I can use to prevent Munchlax from setting up versus me, and that thing becoming a huge issue. It also prevents things like from recovering up, Roost, or any kind of recovery in general at all. So, and I can also prevent Munchlax from going for the Recycle, which would be really nice. Next up we have Meowth. Meowth is really nice in this matchup. I have Fake Out, Faint, Thief, and Water Pulse. My opponent has, I think, one Ghost type and one Rock type Pokemon. So, yeah, I think that's right. So what I can do is fake out versus basically fake out into feint. Knocks out Abra, and if he does pack the protect, and I've already scouted for that in the match, I can just click feint twice and knock him out that way. And if that's the case, that would be really nice too. But Thief is there for the Frillish, and the Water Pulse is there for his. He's got a rock type. I forgot what it is. We can go back and check it out. I think it's what was it? I'm not seeing anything. Maybe it's the Larvitar. I think it's the Larvitar. It's definitely the Larvitar. I'm an idiot. I was just looking right at it. So yeah, that's what that's for. Fake out into Water Pulse. Should knock that thing out. It's 4 times effective with the Life Orb and boosted by Technician. So really, really nice. We're adamant. We outspeed everything except Abra, and we didn't even want to speed tie with it because we have fake out into feint, which should do the job itself. So no big deal there. Not being able to speed tie at least with Abra, so that's no big deal. Fake out into feint should do the job. Life Orb, Technician, not much to say there. All my moves are boosted by Technician, so I'm pretty happy about that. So we can hop into the next Pokemon we've got here. We're bringing the Bidoof with Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Synthesis, and Spikes. Basically a Spadef variant. We have a little bit of speed investment to outpace some of his slower things, but yeah, max Spadef, not max HP, but max defense with just a little bit of HP investment. Makes our EVs almost balance. Almost, I say that. With the Eviolite, it's really, really close. I think our defenses actually jump our HP stat with the Eviolite in play there. But otherwise, it's really close, meaning we take the least amount of damage from things, which is really solid. Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb for dual stab. And yeah, this thing can put in the work. Especially if I can get Rocks and Spikes up, that would be really nice for things like Meowth, things like Abra, and so on and so forth. Next up, we've got Yamask. Yamask here, we're rocking a Trick Room variant. My opponent has the ability to set up sticky webs, and if he does get his sticky webs up versus me, I want to be able to set up my Trick Room and then have Yamask, and you'll see my last Pokemon takes advantage of Trick Room as well. We've got Trick Room, Shadow Ball, Knockoff, and Destiny Bond. So what Knockoff allows us to do, I think he has 1 resist or immunity to Shadow Ball. We can knock off its item. But most importantly, we have Destiny Bond. So that if he knocks, like if he lives Shadow Ball, or if he lives Knockoff, or he lives Shadow Ball, or he lives Knockoff, or he's immune to my Ghost type, and he knows he's going to be able to survive any hit that I go for, and he's able to knock me off or knock me out with some of his coverage or just his stab if it affects me. Then I have the Destiny Bond there, so that I can set up a Trick Room and then Destiny Bond, meaning if he knocks me out, he'll die as well. And I'll be faster under Trick Room, no doubt, especially if he's got sticky webs up. He'll knock me out, and then I'll have most of my Trick Room turns for my boy here, my Ozreal. I got the Life Orb, huge power Ozreal with Frustration and Knockoff. Knockoff is the only coverage I need because his only resistance is Larvitar and Frillish, so which is an immunity, and I think my team deals with Larvitar pretty well. But Frillish being an immunity, I do pack the Life Orb, huge power Knockoff with the Adamant, max attack, should do hell of a lot of damage. So also have Rest Talk. Now it looks a little bit weird, like Life Orb Rest Talk. Like why am I that set with like mixed defenses? That's because he has a Pokemon named Morlul, whatever. It's a grass fairy type, so it's pretty bulky, and it has the ability Effect Spore. So if I attack it and it poisons me or paralyzes me or puts me to sleep, first of all, if it poisons me or paralyzes me, I can always rest up and then sleep talk later on. However, if it puts me to sleep, I can sleep talk immediately and still keep clicking attacks, and this thing really puts out the damage with the huge power and life orb and the okay, so Azurill is a normal fairy type. I'm pretty sure I explained that, made sure to clarify that in my draft analysis, but I just want to reiterate on that. This thing is not a water type fairy type. This thing is a normal type fairy type, and it gets no fairy stab. So Frustration is my strongest attack by far, or return. I don't know if it gets double edged, but it could. But yeah, basically I got normal spam here with Meowth and Azurill. Got some Trick Room shenanigans in case he brings webs, or even if he doesn't bring webs. I'm still pretty slow with minus speed natures on both of these two Pokemon, so I can take advantage of that. I can use Badoo and Onix in a defensive role, and then Meowth and Abra outside of Trick Room and outside of Sticky Webs is still really solid. And even if he does get up Sticky Webs, Meowth has dual priority with Fake Out and Faint, which are boosted by Life Orb Technician. So super strong. And I'm Adamant Max Attack. So we did play Sticky Webs in our very first match of our pool play, and we were able to overcome that with Meowth and Corphish. So hopefully if he does bring Sticky Webs, we can do that again. However, and we also brought Trick Room. So my opponent may not bring webs, thinking, you know, hey, I've scouted my opponent. Last time one of Zamcrow's opponents brought Sticky Webs versus him, Zamcrow actually brought Trick Room, so he may bring Trick Room versus me. So I'm not going to bring Sticky Webs, and I'm going to bring a slow, bulky team along with, you know, some fast Pokemon like Abra and Electrackers, so something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be it for the prep, and we can go ahead and hop into the battle, and we'll be right back. So here we are with the replay, and my opponent chooses to bring the Frillish, Electrike, Abra, Pidove, Axew, and the Sewaddle, however you want to say that. First thing I noticed was my opponent did not bring the Munchlax. So we've got Abra, Onix, Meowth, Badoo, Yamask, and Azurill from the building section of the video. Same exact team that we mentioned is what we brought. So my opponent's got the Frillish here. He could be like an Eviolite variant to take on Meowth. He could be a Spadef variant to maybe take a hit from Abra and fire back with a huge Shadow Ball. He could be a switch into Onix as well. He's got the Electrike, which could be like a Volt switching variant with Hidden Power Water or Hidden Power Ice. I don't think he would be Hidden Power Grass because that doesn't really benefit him at all. Like Hidden Power Water and Ice are options because his team can take on Badoo pretty well, and then he's got like Hidden Power Water for Onix. So yeah, that's pretty nice. He's got Abra there, which could be either, I think, one of two variants, a Life Orb variant or a Focus Sash variant. He's got the Pidove, whatever you want to call it. He does have it, and it could be a couple different options. I'm not real sure. We'll have to see about that. And then he's got the Axew, which could be like a Dragon Dance variant. It could be really bulky. It could be in a Violent variant. Bunch of different things it could be. I noticed he didn't bring Stealth Rocks, and he's got the Sewaddle there that could bring Sticky Webs, but I don't really know what it can do outside of Sticky Webs. Like, not to my team anyway. But yeah, that being said, we can go ahead and lead off here and see what he wants to lead with. He's going to lead with the Axew, and we're going to lead off with Onix. And this is really funny because I have my Sturdy ability, and he has the Mold Breaker ability. So my Sturdy does not matter. And Earthquake can do quite a bit of damage to me. Aqua Tail can probably knock me out. And yeah, I wasn't really thinking here. I mentioned it in my team prep. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it to Panther. Because me and him talk a lot, especially about Little Cup, because I fucking love this format. And yeah, so we talked about this a little bit before the battle happened, and I said I needed to be weary of Mold Breaker, And I completely blank on that turn 1, and I'm going to taunt him so that he can't Dragon Dance. And he's going to fuck me up with the Hydro Vortex. I mean, fuck my world up. So we're starting 6-5 by turn 1. Basically starting the game without Onyx, because he doesn't need that Hydro Vortex for anything else. So yeah, this is basically like we're starting the game here on turn 2 with a 6v5. So I bring in my Abra here because I can knock out this Axew 100% because it's not Eviolite, and he has no switch into Abra. His Abra will come in and take nearly half, could potentially 2-hit KO it, and what he would have to do is go for Shadow Ball versus me, and that's not really like a really solid play because I could hard switch into my Meowth and then fake out into Feint, which he does have Frillish to switch in, but he doesn't know my set. I could be like a Subtoxic variant, I could be a Thief variant, all sorts of different things. So I'm just going to fire off the Psychic, no reason not to, and he's going to hard switch into his Pidove, and it's going to go down. So that thing was O-code, and now he brings in this, and I'm not sure what he wants to do, but I've brought an Abra here to attack. So let's just go ahead and click that Psychic here, and he's going to click the Giga Drain. So obviously he's going to win this exchange. If I click Psychic again and he clicks Giga Drain again, he could potentially knock me out, but even if he doesn't, I'm not doing enough to him to, 2-hit KO him before he 2-hit KOs me. So I definitely don't want to be 2-hit KO'd here. I want to save my Abra as long as possible, and I'm going to hard switch out into my Budew, as he just goes for the Synthesis. I'm going to click Sludge Bomb here. It's likely he either sets up Sticky Webs or switches out here, and I do 2-hit KO him there. I get a crit, doesn't matter, but I'm able to 2-hit KO him, and now we're up 5-4. But he's got Sticky Webs up, which puts my team at a huge disadvantage. What's the word? Naturally puts me at a disadvantage. But what my opponent doesn't know is that I actually have a Suedo Trick Room team. So I'm not in too much trouble here. He goes into his Abra, and I don't want Budew to go down yet. He does have Frillish and Electrike left, and Budew can check both of those super well, and Abra just O-Kos me, so no reason to do that. With Sticky Webs up, Abra really serves no purpose. His entire team outspeeds me and O-Kos me at this point, except his own Abra, which doesn't O-Ko me from this range unless he has Life Orb. So what I want to do is hard switch into my Abra here and see if his Psychic knocks me out. And if it does, that means he is Life Orb and not Focus Sash, meaning I can knock him out with one hit with Meowth or Ozeril. So that's really valuable information there. And what I'm going to do is go hard into my Yamask. He can't knock me out with one hit here, so I can go for my Trick Room and then fire off some Shadow Balls. But my opponent makes a really good play, hard switches into his Electrike, and like I mentioned earlier, I've got Budew left for Electrike and Frillish, so I'm going to hard switch into that. I get caught in the Sticky Web, not a big deal. He goes for the Thunderbolt, again, not a big deal. I can set up a Spike there. I should have maybe set up 2 spikes, because he does stay in, and obviously I wouldn't been able to keep all my Trick Room turns to beat the Electrike, but I would have had 2 rounds of Spike up, and then on the last turn of Trick Room I could have attacked, and I would have been at basically full anyway, because Electrike does nothing to me, and I would have been able to 1v1 it in or out of Trick Room. So I should have gotten 2 spikes up. It would have put this thing in range of Sludge Bomb, but he's actually going to live. But he decides to Dragon Dance up as I go for the Sludge Bomb, which that play doesn't really make sense to me, because with or without a Dragon Dance he can't O-Ko me, and without a Dragon Dance he can't 2-hit KO me. So I guess either way it didn't really matter. What he needed was a crit, and he's going to be punished for his play, his greedy play. And I get the poison. He goes down. It doesn't matter because I would have lived any one hit. Even after the Dragon Dance, I would have lived a +1 Outrage, and then I would have died to the Abra on the following turn. So it didn't really matter. It just sped up the game by 1 turn. And now I'm going to go back into my Yamask here, and what I can do is click Trick Room, knowing I can live a Life Orb Shadow Ball. I do live. It does 75%, which was actually a pretty good roll for him, I believe. And I'm able to set up the Trick Room and click Shadow Ball here. And I knock this thing out, and now Frillish comes in. So what I want to do here is it's taking Spikes damage, so that means it's in range of Life Orb Azrael knockoff, and it means if he was Focus Sash, it's broken. Abra revealed to not be Focus Sash earlier in the game, so I know Azrael knocks that thing out in one go. So what I want to do here is just click Destiny Bond. I don't think differential matters in a single elimination tournament. So I can take this thing down, bring in Azrael under Trick Room, and fire off that Life Orb, huge power, adamant, max attack, frustration, knock out the Abra in one hit, and that's going to be a good game to the Pokemaster Mike. Really solid game there. I feel like my prep was just... It worked out so good. I don't want to say my prep is perfect. My prep is never perfect, never flawless. But yeah, it worked out really good. I felt like I saw this game in my head 10 times, and then it played out just exactly the way I wanted it to. It was so good. The only thing I regret is not getting up 2 spikes with Budew under the first set of Trick Room turns when he brought the Electrike in, so that my Sludge Bomb would have knocked Axew out without the poison damage, and that would have been really nice, because I don't want anybody to try to use that as an excuse excuse me there, for my win here in the top 8 cup. Speaking of which, we're moving on to the final 4, and we're facing off against a very, very strong opponent with a very scary squad, but I'll leave that, a mystery until I do upload the final 4 match. That being said, though, let me know what you thought about the battle. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.